name is Sasha. Welcome back to my channel. So today I was cleaning my room, kind of. It's still pretty messy, but I found bags of books that I had forgotten that I had bought, which I'm sure happens to a lot of us. All of these were purchased from around November, December to mid-March. They were all but a couple came from the used bookstore that helps fund my library. And there's about 3 bags. So I'm just going to go through them because it's going to be a surprise to me too, whatever I got. And I'm going to start with this bag. So, on top we have Germs and Steel, The Fates of Human Society by Jared Diamond. It says it was the winner of the Pulitzer Prize. I remember picking this up from the science section of my used bookstore, and I had heard good things about it. And so I thought, I'm going to pick it up and read it. It sounds like exactly like the kind of thing I like. The fates of society, how things are made. So I think I'm going to like it. Next is a arc that one of my friends gave me because she didn't want it anymore. And it is They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I have never read anything by Adam Silvera, which I need to correct. And this is apparently very sad, which maybe I'll put off reading this for a while until all of the stuff going on in the world is over. But yeah, this is about a world where you get like a text when you're on the day you're about to die, and these 2 boys get paired up on an app where you get paired with someone who's also about to die, and they have a day together and fall in love. And even though I'm not a fan of insta-love, I think in some cases it can be really beautiful. So I'm planning on reading that. Next is called I Am Jude, Age 10 and Divorced by Jude Ali. I just picked this up because of the title. Age 10 and divorced, that's crazy to me. And I know in a lot of countries, child brides and underage marriages are still a thing. So I plan to read this. Next is another book I got from my friend. Her name is Elena. And this is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. This did not come with a dust jacket. I've heard about this book, but I don't know what it's about exactly. But I know it's a fantasy book, and I've heard it's pretty good. So, it's a chunker. Like, this is really heavy. So, yeah. Next is one I also bought because of my friend Elena, and it is Dear Martin by Nick Stone. She was talking about going to the Miami Book Fair, I believe, and meeting Nick Stone. And I saw a book by Nick Stone, and I was like, I'm going to pick Nick Stone's book up. Not sure what this is about, so I just read it, and it's about this boy who is a good student, and he and his friend go driving with music turned up really loud, and one of the friends gets shot. And that sounds really similar to a case that happened here in Florida about a man who pulled up next to these black teenagers who were playing their music very loud and shot them with a shotgun. And he was convicted, thankfully, and is in prison. And I believe it's going to be hard-hitting if it's about what I think it's about. So maybe I'll save that for a time when I don't need as much light stuff, because right now I'm only reading lighter books. Next is The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater. So this is my first Maggie Stiefvater book. No, wait. I have I read Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater a long time ago, and I remember liking it, but I know it's Twilighty. But, you know, like, Twilighty books aren't that bad. Like, everybody hates on Twilighty books, but, you know, just fantasy romance, or, like, YA fantasy romance is a good genre. Like, it's a nice, fun genre. But anyway, this is about water horses that eat people or something, and one of I think a girl wants to ride them. Not sure. She enters the competition as the first girl. There's a competition, apparently. I'm not giving a good description of this, but Maggie Stiefvater. I want to read The Raven Boys, but this is the first one I found, so. Next is Ghosts of the Tsunami, Death and Life in Japan's Disaster Zone by Richard Lloyd Perry. This is another nonfiction book I picked up, but this time it was in the history section. Ooh, look at that cover. Ooh. That is nice. Oh, it's the tsunami. Can you see it? Yeah, it's the tsunami. This is pretty self-explanatory. It's about the disaster, the nuclear disaster in Japan after a tsunami hit, and I guess it's gonna talk about that. Is this fun? Is this good content? I'm just saying, hey, look at this book. I bought it. Okay, the next one is called The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. And I know that this is about a family that moves to Alaska with a young girl, and that things start to go wrong. I don't think I've ever read a Kristen Hanna book, but this is about Alaska. And I love Alaska. I'm like obsessed with it. I watch like anything that has to do with Alaska, and read anything that has to do with Alaska. So I'm gonna have to get to that. It's a chunker too. It's floppy though. It's nice. Next is I Am Not Your Perfect Mexican Daughter by Erica Sanchez. And so there's a channel called Boo to Books, and when they were doing their first couple videos, they talked about this book and how it made them cry. And I saw it at the used bookstore, and I was like, I think I'm going to have to pick that up. It sounds really good. It's about a girl whose sister dies, the sister was the perfect one, and so the mother starts not hating, but like pointing out all the bad things in the daughter that lived. So, yeah. Next is the school. Ooh, what is this? Nice. I love getting random bookmarks and things. Next is The School of Good and Evil by Saman Chainani. And I know this is a middle grade. It was really popular a couple years ago. And it's about like the School of Good and Evil, and one girl goes to the School of Evil and one girl goes to the School of Good, and they find out that neither of them are suited to either. Something like that. I remember there's a channel called Maddie and B. Read. They talked about it a lot there. There's like other books in the series. I don't know. Sounds good. Next are two. So the thing about my library is that, or not my library, my used bookstore, is that you have to buy $10 worth of books to use your credit card or your debit card. So I had to buy 2 Debbie Maycomer books to get up to $10 to buy some of these books. And I've never read Debbie Maycomer. I know she writes really light, fluffy books. These are both Christmas books because I bought them during Christmas time. And so I'm not going to read them now. I have to wait till Christmas to read them. I know there's some good Christmas readathons, so maybe I'll just save them for then. But they are Where Angels Go and A Cedar Cove Christmas. I hope these aren't in a series because I cannot read series out of order. I just can't. Next is The Demon King by Cinda Williams Chima. I'm going to say Chima. And I don't know what this is about. I don't know what any of these are about. But I know that I talked about buddy reading this with somebody. If it's you, comment down below. But yeah, this looks, I've heard about this series. So this is not good content. I am so sorry. That's that bag. Next bag. So, okay, this is The Gutter Prayer by Garrett Hanrahan. And it's the city of Guerdon stands eternal, a refuge from the war that rages beyond its borders. But in the ancient tunnels deep beneath its streets, a malevolent power has begun to stir. The fate of the city rests in the hands of 3 thieves, they alone standing against the coming darkness. As conspiracies unfold and secrets are revealed, their friendship will be tested to the limit. If they fail, all will be lost, and the streets of Guerdon will run with blood. Very interesting. It's very dusty. Ooh. I don't remember what channel I saw this on, but I saw somebody talking about this, and then I saw it in the store, and I was like, I'm going to pick that up. So, I have it now. Ooh, okay. The next one is The Lie Tree by Frances Hardinge? I don't know. But I know a book called Deep Light by her. Them, I'll just say them to be safe. Them just came out, and apparently it's very dark and it's about the ocean. So I know the name, and when I saw this in the store, I was like, you know, I'm going to get that. And I think it's about a tree where, yeah, I'm not even going to pretend I know what this is about, because I don't. Okay. So this is a book I'm currently reading. It is The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Arden. I had this out from the library in the hardcover, and I got about halfway through it, and then I had to return it, and I haven't picked it up since. And now that I see this, I'm very excited because I'm going to finish this at some point soon. But it is really good. It's about this girl named, Vasilisa, in Russia, and she can see demons and, like, spirits, and she lives in a town with her father, and there's this otherworldly man who has, like, focused on her, but she's growing up, and this priest comes to her town and starts to send away the demons, and that's where I stopped. But I was fascinated because I love Russian folklore, so I'm gonna have to get back to that ASAP. Yes. Then I bought Graceling, the first book in the Graceling trilogy, by Kristen Cashore. Kristen Cashore, if you didn't know, is one of my favorite authors. The Graceling trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies, or favorite books trilogies, favorite book series. Just my favorites. They're so good. If you haven't read them, you need to pick them up. Like, it's a necessity. Yeah. Then I picked up Z, a novel of Zelda Fitzgerald by Teresa Ann Fowler, and I'm not entirely sure if this is a biography or if this is fiction, but I've heard a lot of things about the way that F. Scott Fitzgerald treated Zelda, and none of it sounded good. So I was always fascinated by Zelda, and I plan to read about her. Then I got the first book, I believe, in the Dubliner Crime Squad. Am I saying that correctly? I don't know. But it's the first book in a series. It's In the Woods by Tana French. And I know that there's a TV series for this series. So I've always wanted to read this, so I guess I bought it, and I'm gonna read it. I'm just saying I'm gonna read all these books. Like, duh, you bought them. Of course you're gonna read them. That's that bag. Get away from me. So this is the last bag. It's not as full as the other ones. The first one on here is They're There by Tana French. This is by an indigenous author, I believe. And it's about, oh my gosh, there's hair everywhere. Which is my hair. I shed like a dog. It's an indigenous story. I'm saving this for Indigathon. I don't know when that happens. I believe it's later on in the year. But I have a few books lined up for that, and I'm excited. So, and I heard Sage Reads said this is like a crazy book. So, as I take these out, I remember that I bought them and why. So this is 1,000 Beginnings and Endings, edited by Ellen O. and Elsie Chapman. This is retellings of Asian myths and legends. This was the Asian Readathon book, like group read last year, and I could not find it anywhere. And I finally saw it in the young adult section of my used bookstore, and I was like, I need to pick that up. So this is another book I could read for the Asian Readathon, but I have a lot of books that I'm reading in May. And I'll link my May TBR if you haven't seen it. Yeah. I have like walls of books around me. You can't see them, but they're building up. One day you'll see them. Here's another one. Okay, this one is gorgeous. This is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson, and it came with a little ribbon bookmark. And it's just so, my hair! It's just so big and gorgeous. And I've heard this series is really good. So, I think, it's either this one or the Remnant Chronicles, where one man is trying to kill her and the other man is the man she's betrothed to, and they're both trying to find her. I think that's the Remnant Chronicles. But anyway. And the last book of this haul, this like annoyingly long, terribly messy haul, is The Silent Patient by Alex Michaelides. I picked this up because of the hype. I've heard mixed reviews. It's very polarizing, I believe. But it's about a woman who kills her husband and then doesn't talk for like 5 years, and a man like weasels his way into the hospital where she's being held prisoner to find out like what happened, and that's honestly something I would do. But it sounds interesting, and I've heard from some people that the twist is really good, and from other people that it's really obvious and stupid. But I will make my own decision. So that is all the books. You can't see them, but like I said, there's walls of books around me, and I don't know how I'm going to get up. Thank you for watching. Comment down below if you read any of these books and which I should prioritize. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!